Okay, so here's a laydown of what's going on. Remember when Johnny Depp took Amber Heard to court and everybody on Twitch used it as free content to profit off of somebody else's misfortune? Me too. Well, it made me think, what if I brought my friends to court too? Not like suing them, no, but make them participate in one of the most probably childish kangaroo courts of all time, live in front of a live audience where that said audience picks the topic and the winner. Well, that's exactly what I did. I took two people that I thought were truly master debaters and put them head to head in the heat of debate. And hey, if you like this sort of content, feel free to subscribe. We're getting awfully close to 1,000. It'd be pretty freaking cool if you help me get there. We have a new round of master debaters coming up this Friday. So if you like this video, hey, check out my Twitch. Boom, there it is. Anyways, enough plugging. Bye-bye. Have fun. Have fun. Alrighty! Welcome out, boys and girls. Today we have the first in the line of the series called Master Debaters. Two people enter this courtroom, only one will leave. Today, we are debating on what is the most underrated video game of all time. To my left, we have
Dalamino, and to my right we have Eric Derek, also known as Ibdorf. My microphone didn't cut off, and this is till Jayohkay smiley face.
They are debating on their favorite underrated games, Gibdorf being 𝗏𝗡 and Dalamino doing Little Big Planet series. So I'm kind of interested to see how this goes. Starting off right off of the bat, we're going to be doing a 10-minute presentation from each of them of why they think their game is the most underrated game of all time. Dalamino, Gibdorf, if you'd like to unmute, I would like you to pick a number between 1 and 10.
7.
You got it. Right on.
By the way, I'm not doing the whole series. I'm doing the first game.
Just the first game? Okay, that's fine. That's perfect. Little Big Planet 1. Gibdorf, you guessed it right on the bat. Right off the bat, my thought in my head was 7, and you said 7 right when I asked. So congratulations. It is your turn to take the court if you would like it, or would you like to yield it to Dalamino first?
I would love to go first.
All right. And you'll have 10 minutes exactly to give your presentation, okay?
Okay, Your Honor. My name is Eric. My job is unemployed. And let me ask you all a question. What's the most underrated video game of all time? 𝗏𝗡. You might be wondering to yourself, 𝗏𝗡 who exactly? What's the deal with that? And that's why you haven't heard of it. The game has sold under 1 million copies. Now, normally you might think, oh, well, that's kind of understandable. I mean, what the frick even is a 𝗏𝗡? But that's just the thing. It shouldn't be understandable. This is a first-party game made by Nintendo, directed by Shigeru Miyamoto himself, yet it didn't even crack 1 million on one of the best-selling systems of all time, the Game Boy. It only got one port ever, which was to the 3DS Virtual Console, and it was highlighted in what's known as 8-Bit Summer, where Nintendo ported a bunch of 8-bit games to the 3DS Virtual Console, and they even had a trailer showing it off. But you know what they didn't advertise? 𝗏𝗡. And you're wondering, well, what about Smash Bros? Surely 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 has to be super represented in Smash Bros, but no, he only has one spirit, which was in Smash Ultimate. No trophies, no assist trophies, no stage, no music. Zero representation, except for one spirit in the game. And if you want even more proof on how underground this game is, this review on Google. Haven't played it, but I heard it's great, and also nobody has reviewed it yet. Nobody talks about this game, but they heard it's great. Anyways, monkey break. Okay, that's enough monkey business. I'm serious now, Your Honor. So,
Thank you.
I've described to you why I think this game is super underground. I feel like I made myself pretty clear on that. But what's the deal with 𝗏𝗡? Very fun puzzle game in which you are a mole named... You know what? I'm not even going to say the name. We don't have time for that. So basically, you're a mole. And moles can dig underground, so that's the main mechanic of this game. You have to traverse puzzle-like rooms, almost like a Zelda dungeon, in order to get to the end. And in doing so, you have to clear the puzzles in the rooms. Next, there are 7 whole worlds to explore. Next up, unique mechanics. Each world, excluding the final one before the boss rush, introduces a new mechanic that keeps the game fresh and from getting stale. He is a hard-working dad. In the story of 𝗨𝗡𝗍𝗂, he's a dad who has some kids and even a wife, but they get kidnapped by the bad farmer 𝗁𝗵𝗍 to create 𝗁𝗵𝗍 land. This is some capitalist pig type stuff. He's a jerk. But you know what? That's why we love him. Because he goes through thick and thin. That's all, Your Honor.
Thank you. I'd honestly say that was pretty good. I will have to give you the fact that I've never heard of 𝗨𝗡𝗍𝗂, like minus the fact that you made a video about it and people call you the 𝗨𝗡𝗍𝗂 man. That is definitely an underrated game. But speaking of underrated games, we do have another underrated game, which is going to be Dalamino's Little Big Planet 1. Okay, Dalamino.
I'm ready.
All right, you're good to go.
Fellas, have you ever played video games? Well, I want to tell you about one of my favorite games ever, all right? This is why Little Big Planet is one of the most underrated video games ever. Period. Period on that period, all right? These factual statements are brought to you by me. So let's get into it. Here's my opening statement. Little Big Planet is one of the most underrated games of all time. It's a sandbox game that predates Minecraft and even excels beyond it in some aspects. Despite the series still moving forward to this day, the new released games lose a majority of the magic that made the original the modern classic that it is. Also, 𝗨𝗡𝗍𝗂 is L plus ratio plus Sackboy better. So, what is Little Big Planet, aka LBP? Little Big Planet is a 2.5 dimensional sandbox game released in 2008, developed by 𝗕𝗓𝗄𝗏. I want you to remember those guys. Those guys will be important later. So this game has a story mode. It's got a sandbox mode, and it has a multiplayer mode. All right, and I want to talk about each of these in their own individual sections. So let's talk about the story mode. All right, so as you can kind of tell here, this game is in 3D, but I called it a 2.5 game, and the reason for that is because it's a 3D game played in a two-dimensional space with 3 layers. So there's multiplayer. You can play up to 4 different people, all just couch multiplayer at the same time. In these levels, these are developed by the creators of the game, and the levels are really good. So I have a little bit of the game that I want to show, and here's just a little bit of the game. You can kind of see what it looks like, how you play it. The primary goal is just to go from the beginning of the stage to the end of the stage and just find various objects and stickers along the way that can be used in the moon. And the moon is basically the creative mode of Minecraft. You see this pop-up menu here. You can not only just create the world around you, you can also customize yourself, as you saw in the previous slide. And you might be asking yourself, yeah, okay, but is the music soundtrack fire though? I mean, is it? I don't know. I'm not sure. Let's go to the next slide and find out. And the answer to that question is yes. So this is the first stage in the game. Listen to that vibe.
I can't.
Listen to that flute.
I can't.
You just already know you're gonna have a good time.
Hey, we
Oh, you don't hear it? Listen to that flute. Oh man, the good vibes just keep on rolling. Let's go. Oh, now I want to go to one of my favorite tracks, Rock the Jungle. Just listen to that bass line. Oh, look at it go. I wanted to talk about this guy because I'm pretty sure this guy is the only thing that people remember this game for nowadays if you haven't played the game because you've seen Twitter profile pictures of him. I have nothing else to add. Next slide. So now I want to go back to 𝗕𝗓𝗄𝗏, and this is partially part of the reason why I didn't want to go through the whole series. They are the primary developer of the games, but after the second game, they gave the game to Sumo Studio, who kind of destroyed it, and it made me sad. But then they 𝗕𝗓𝗄𝗏 made Dreams. Dream, get out of there, silly goose. What a silly guy. And here's why 𝗨𝗡𝗍𝗂 is overrated. It has the spirit in Super Smash Brothers. Guess what doesn't? Sackboy. And then 𝗨𝗡𝗍𝗂 also has very little replayability because it's a puzzle game. But like I mentioned before, as a multiplayer campaign, and you can run through that campaign multiple times because there's multiple different objectives to get. Hey, look, another music sample. Listen to that. Oh man, what a vibe.
That was the first round. That was the first round, the presentation round. Congratulations to both of you guys. That was good. Both sides, great, actually. All right, moving on. We are going to have a 5-minute retort section where you get to argue or defend now for 5 minutes. First up's gonna be Eric Derek. Whenever you're ready, tell me you're ready, and then I'm gonna start the timer.
I'm ready.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
So it's sort of a small thing to note, but one of Dalamino's points that was really freaking interesting to me was that 𝗏𝗡mania can't be underrated because 𝗪𝘂𝗏 has a spirit in Smash. Now you might be wondering, Eric, why is that such a big deal? Well, let me remind you, he's trying to distract you even from the fact that Little Big Planet Sackboy himself is a playable character in PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. Not an assist trophy, not a stage, not a song, a freaking character. Well, 𝗪𝘂𝗏 has a PNG represented by Donkey Kong. Anyways, to continue with that, it's not just that, like, it goes so much further. Want to know how many Little Big Planet games there are? Is there 1? Is there 2? Is there 3? No, there's not even 3. There's not even 4. There's not even, well, there are those. But there are 10 whole games in total. All we get is this one little game. 8 hours long, 8 hours of perfection, but just one game. Well, he has 10. I can read them off to you. Little Big Planet for the PlayStation 3, Little Big Planet 2 for the PlayStation 3, Little Big Planet 3 for the PlayStation 3, and then I could like list more because there's spin-offs. It's a freaking car racer game. But then want to know it was a PS5 launch title, a game so big that it was used to help sell the PlayStation 5. A Little Big Planet game. I know he's just focusing on the first game, but if the first game was so underrated, it wouldn't have gotten all these spin-offs, these mobile games, these cameos. Like, he's not just in the freaking worst version of Smash Bros. He's in freaking Everybody's Golf. He's in PlayStation Home. He's in the Order 1886. I don't know why he's there, but he is. He is everywhere. And that's not even including the merchandise of this guy. He's so easy to make merchandise of that, like, I've seen people with Sackboy merchandise. There's not a plushie, a pin. There is nothing of 𝗪𝘂𝗏 except for this game itself. And it's not like these were games that sold horribly. I didn't check the sales for the other games, although I do know that they sold at least decently well. Want to know how many copies Little Big Planet 1 sold? 4 million! That's already a lot on its own. But when you take into account that the PlayStation 3 only sold 87.4 million units, that is 21.75% of all PlayStation 3 owners own Little Big Planet. If you got a person who owned a Game Boy, there's a 1 in 362 chance that they own 𝗏𝗏mania versus the 1 in 22 chance that they own Sackboy. Sackboy is such a big series. He's trying to convince you that it's just, oh, this little one-off game. No, it's not. Frick you. That's libel. The game and series is huge. You, the audience, you're important. Your vote matters. None of you knew about 𝗏𝗏mania going in. The judge didn't even know about 𝗏𝗏mania going in. This is an actual underrated game, whereas freaking Sackboy, I'm not gonna go as far as to say it's overrated, but I would say it's very popular and is perfectly rated as is.
That was honestly a pretty good retort. I liked it. Good job. Thumbs up to you. I see you thumbs upping on your screen. Dalamino, are you ready, my mans?
I'm ready.
All right, ready.
Now, I know you guys have heard some things and a lot of accusations made against me, and while I would love to continue going on the offense, I feel like I should defend my points. Number one, I think we need to go to the official definition of underrated, and that definition would be not rated or valued highly enough, okay? And I know he made the point that there are multiple games in this series, but like I mentioned in my opening statement, and like I mentioned in my second point, The first 2 games were made by Media Molecule, and then after that point, it was sold to Sumo Digital, okay? And I have played the 3rd game, and I have played games by Sumo Digital, and I have seen the real-time downfall of the series. I understand that it was a PS5 launch title. I know, but that game is not. It is not even close to the original. That PS5 game is like, it is so much closer to Super Mario 3D World than it is anything close to the original. I know that the series is still ongoing today, but this is a situation like Paper Mario. People love the old Paper Mario games. I know you can't call it underrated, but like there was a time where I didn't know that those games existed. I knew that the new ones existed. I didn't know that the old ones existed. And if you were to like tell me that you should play Paper Mario, and I played a new one, I'd be like, yeah, that game sucked. But if I played an old one, I'd be like, dude, that game rocked. And I think that is what makes this game underrated, okay? Because anyone can just play the new title, but they will not get the same magic, the same reaction as playing the original Little Big Planet for the PlayStation 3.
Okay. So, Dalamino choosing to go fully on the defensive and no attacking after his initial presentation being quite offensive, to be honest. All right, both of you. This moment's going to be a little tough. How this is going to work, I was originally going to give you 5 minutes, but I'm realizing how quick 5 minutes goes by. I'm going to give you 10 minutes to talk to one another. To argue with one another about why your game is more underrated than the other person's. Okay? Who would like the opening statement?
I'll let him go first.
Oh, I would, Your Honor.
Okay, give Dwarf goes first. Okay, we're starting in 3, 2, 1.
So, just to clear my throat, one of the most interesting things that I didn't get to comment on before was your review scores. You were very proud of those. They were really high up, but doesn't that make you seem like the game is very highly rated? That doesn't seem underrated at all. That seems as if
The game came out in 1996. 𝗪𝘂𝗰𝗍 came out in 1996. You know how many reviews of the game, like how many game review companies there were in 1996 as compared to 2008? That's just technology improving over time. That's just new developed industries.
That's not the point, though. That's not the point I was trying to make. Even if you go online today, you'll see, like, for instance, a really cool site is called GG. It's a game tracking site. And if you type in 𝗪𝘂𝗰𝗍, you'll see that the game has a solid 4 review score. That's not bad at all. Not a 5 out of 5, not a 4.5. But, you know, it's still a very solid thing. But if you were to type in Little Stupid Planet, that's the name of the game, right?
It's very hurtful. And also not true. It's a big planet.
The game has a 3.9, both very similar scores. So that just goes to show that your high review scores not only don't really matter, but if anything, show that your game is very overrated. It has very high scores. And also, I thought another interesting point that you made was that, like, they kept on making games, but they were worse and worse. Doesn't that just show how successful the original game was, how popular and overrated the original game was?
No, it doesn't, because Little Big Planet 3
Hey,
is one in the series.
Here.
It's the best-selling one.
That they're all riding on the coattails of the original. Let's be honest here. No one cares about freaking Garfield Kart's gameplay loop. The Garfield Kart gameplay loop is not good. That's just like a fact. But wanna know why people play it? People play it because it's Garfield. Very similarly to Sackboy Kart, or whatever the frick the game is called, a stupid name. They're all riding on the success of the first game, which is so overrated that it spawned all these games that you yourself say is bad.
Okay, I want to say, you've already gotten your bonus points by choosing a game that is inherently less popular, okay? I will give you
that's what
that.
underrated means. You're supposed to choose a
No,
game that's
it's not
popular.
underrated.
Maybe you missed the memo on
It
that
came out in
part.
1996 on the Game Boy, all
A
right?
very popular system.
Let's talk a little bit about sales figures, okay? I understand that you many times said that it had higher sales figures, but I don't think that is what underrated means in a person's heart, okay? Underrated, to me, I think there's a difference here. For you, underrated is just how many people recognize the game, okay? And as you said before,
it has less than 1 million copies, and I know that my game has more than 1 million copies.
Over
Okay,
4 million to be exact.
sure, but to me, underrated is how recognized a game has been over time. Okay.
Oh, you mean the game that's so recognizable that Sackboy has been put into crossover after crossover and gotten sequel after sequel that, as you yourself have said, have not been as good, so that they're riding on the
Nobody
success
talks
of the
about the
original.
first game. Okay, there's not coattailing. That is Sumo Digital. That's an entirely different thing. That's why I had to separate Media Molecule from Sumo Digital. Sumo
You're
Digital
freaking,
has
like,
been writing off
You're
Sackboy's
on
name.
the beat so hard of Media Molecule, yet you failed to mention to the audience, Media Molecule is a British company. I'm almost barfing in my mouth because I hate the British so much.
I feel like he kind of deflected my point there, but I do want to know.
What was your point?
I said I wanted to make there is a difference between Media Molecule and Sumo Digital. I know and I recognize Sumo Digital has been milking Sackboy. I recognize that. But what point I'm trying to make to you today, to the people, to the chat, to Judge Jay himself, the point I'm trying to make is that no one talks about the original. Okay? I know that there is a new title on the PS5. But as I said before, the gameplay for that game is so separate from Little Big Planet. It might be fun, but it is nowhere similar.
You are trying to tell me that the reason your game is underrated because no one talks about it? No one knows what a Mole Mania is!
Okay, a common thing I see you bring up again and again is Sackboy himself, okay? Sackboy is not what makes Little Big Planet what it is, alright? There is Media Molecules, like, design in the campaign in the moon. There is the online community for that game, which made it what it is, alright? It has its own music, it has its own levels. They made
it's you know who made those levels? Fans. Those fans who love the game, who are passionate about the game.
In
who are so
2008.
passionate they would make levels about it. The only reason they stopped making levels for the first game is because it was discontinued so they could make levels for the third game.
Not discontinued. You can still make them to this day. And I mentioned
On the first game?
I
They
mentioned
shut it down in 2020. They shut down level creation in 2020.
They did?
He's lying to the court!
No, I'm not lying
He's
to the
trying to
court.
get away
I
with
played
lying!
campaign. I
That
played
is
campaign.
not even allowed. That's not even allowed. This is a kangaroo court,
I
Your
played
Honor.
campaign. I mentioned before, okay? And I have seen the game's popularity go down year after year. I have told you, I have played this game throughout my life. I've seen popularity go down. I've seen like how
Mania never had popularity to begin with.
in Super Smash Brothers. You
As
brought
a
up that
spirit
point,
that
and
was
I called
added
you
in
Reed.
after the fact.
A
And
game
who's
that has
recognized by-
20 million copies of Super Smash Brothers. That is inherently like some number if you want to be a numbers
But
guy.
no one here even knew he was in the game because no one knew what a Mole Mania was.
Sackboy is not in that game. Sackboy is an individual thing for PlayStation.
I'm saying that your game is so popular that it spawned an entire series, 10 whole games.
I know, but that series has changed. It has mutated over
It doesn't
time.
matter if it has changed, it still spawned that.
I'm talking about the game on its own, not the after effects of what came after it. Okay?
But
when
if you're
people
looking
talk
at it,
about
you can't look at it in a vacuum when talking about it being underrated. That's just not how talking about being underrated works.
Thinking on my own points, as an unbiased person here, I do personally believe that if a series is popular, it doesn't mean that a specific game in the series is overrated. A good example would be the Metal Gear Solid series. The first Metal Gear game, not even Metal Gear Solid, the first Metal Gear game was doo-doo caca. Really bad. It was not a good game. Metal Gear 2 was kind of meh as well, but it kept going, and then Metal Gear Solid happened, and Metal Gear Solid created an amazing series. That is not underrated by any means, because everybody loves it. Anyways, so I can see Dalamino's point, but on the same side, I can also see Gibdor's point by saying that the game wasn't underrated. A lot of people bought it. A lot of people knew what the game was, and it created an entire series. I have everything added up so far. I will let you know inherently closing statements are worth more points than anything else. Opening statements was worth a lot, and closing statements are worth a lot. Your argument, everything else are just kind of like bonus points. The big one is your defense, your opening statements, and then the biggest one is your closing statement. So best of luck to both of you. 𝗪𝗠𝗀, you're up first. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Ready? All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
So I hope you guys, number one thing that I hope you take away from this series in the first place is the music. Please, I beg you, please listen to this music from this game. It changed my music taste, and there's so many bangers in this game. I've been fighting an uphill battle this whole thing. I honestly thought that Gib would be choosing a game from a more recent console, but you know, you have to fight the battle as is, and that's what I did to my best ability. I hope that you understand that when I talk about underrated, I do not mean it in a sales sense, and I do not mean it in a sense of the series as a whole. I recognize that the series is still going on to this day, but I do not see the recognition that the first game should still be getting to this day. I just hope that you guys as a whole understand the difference between underrated and underselling, I guess.
Okay. Good job, 𝗪𝗠𝗀. Good one. All right. Gibdorf, are you ready?
I'm always ready, Jay. Didn't even have to ask.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Please, for the love of God, play 𝗪𝗠𝗀. It's a short little puzzle game that's no fluff at all, and it has only gameplay with amazing puzzles to boot. But the main point, to say a game is underrated implies it's a hidden gem that not enough people played or appreciated. To apply that to a title of a flagship series that's considered to be one of the best in said series, as said by 𝗪𝗠𝗀, that just can't be true. The underrated statement just can't apply. It's like saying that the first Mario game is underrated because it's just not as appreciated as Super Mario World. It still sold millions of units and is loved by fans. On the other hand, 𝗪𝗠𝗀 has no fan community, no one talks about it anymore, and has no other games to the series or even cameos outside of it other than the PNG in a fighting game with over 1,000 other PNGs. Also, he says he means underrated by recognition, but the review scores were extremely positive for his game, which he flaunted, whereas 𝗪𝗠𝗀 received like 7 out of 10s, which isn't bad, but in my opinion doesn't reflect how amazing this game is, from the game design, the puzzle design, and the creativity of its mechanics, making it underrated not just in sales and recognition, but also reviews. Yeah, I mean, I rest my case.
So everything's added up. Are you guys ready? Chad, are you ready? Because I have a crazy outcome. I have all the numbers down. And I'll let you guys know, the winner was a lot closer than I thought it would be. Everybody knows who is in chat. 𝗪𝗠𝗀 won the Who Won poll from chat, but only by 1. Keep in mind, every point you get is divisible by 50. So you take the 11 total votes there, divisible by 50, and multiply what you got by that number. The difference between who won was 0.38 points of a difference. It was less than half a point. So needless to say, I think everybody here can agree. Congratulations, both of you. You guys did an outstanding job. But there is a winner. And the winner of the first Master Debaters debate, drumroll please, 𝗪𝗠𝗀 with Little Big Planet. 𝗪𝗠𝗀, what do you have to say? Take the stage. Take the stage. Dell. He's screaming right now. He's so excited. I know you can't hear him because he's completely muted. His mic unplugged or something.
I don't know what happened to him.
Accidentally unplugged all of my cords.
All right. Here, I'll play the fanfare for you again. There we go, 𝗪𝗠𝗀, you win. Congratulations.
I win.
You win by 0.38 points. So that's great. Congratulations Both of you guys are great debaters, but there's only one master debater according to today, and that's Dalamino. Congratulations. Round of applause.
Hey.
Personal thank you to everybody at home who showed up today and hung out with us here on stream. Seriously, I cannot stress that enough. I'm looking forward to more debates, and if you want to see more of it, make sure to show up to the next one. Because if you liked it, I want to make sure that you liked it. Let me know. Leave a comment on this video whenever it releases. Let me know that you liked this and you want to see more of it. Leave a comment right there. Say hi to YouTube, everybody. Say hi and bye to YouTube, everybody. I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye-bye.